On to week 9 now of this 2016 NFL season. Playoff race is starting to shape up around the league. You know, it's an interesting slate of games this week 9. Several caught my eye, but I have narrowed it down to my 3 favorite. Would like to get to them now quickly, starting in Miami, where the Dolphins host division rival New York. Miami a 3.5-point favorite at Betsafe, 44 the total in this game. You know, this is a really big game for both these teams. They've both won 2 straight. The Jets now sitting at 3-5, the Dolphins sitting at 3-4. Whoever wins this one on Sunday, I think, is going to come out of here feeling like they've really salvaged their season, really turned it around, having won 3 straight to get back into the fringe of playoff contention. So I'm sure both these teams viewing this as a really big must-win game. And the Jets are an interesting team. They've had problems offensively all season. Big quarterback controversy a couple of weeks ago, of course, when Ryan Fitzpatrick was benched in favor of Geno Smith. Smith then went out and tore his ACL. Fitzpatrick came back in the lineup, and they've won a couple of games since. But Fitzpatrick was terrible in the first half last week against Cleveland, just 3 of 14 passing. And you get the sense, now I know there have been some other injury issues. Eric Decker, Fitzpatrick's second favorite receiver, still not playing. But you get the sense that this New York offense is still having problems and is going to have problems for probably the remainder of the season. They don't feel like they're gelling and coming together to me. And that's exactly what it feels like is happening on the offensive side of the ball in Miami. The Dolphins' offensive line has been healthy and now have played together for 2 straight games. Their starters have only been healthy and played together for the past 2 games. Not a coincidence that the Dolphins have won those 2 games. Jay Ajayi really starting to run the ball. Those offensive linemen paving some holes for Ajayi, but he is totally taken over as the feature back in Miami now. Arian Foster actually retired a few days ago, so Ajayi is the man, and he's been running like it over these past couple of games. But the Jets have the number 1 rushing defense in the NFL. The Jets are number 1 in the NFL against the run and dead last against the pass. So in this game on Sunday, I think it's going to be Ryan Tannehill that carries the Dolphins to victory. You know, Tannehill, much maligned over the past couple of years in Miami, but he's not quite as bad as some people make him out to be, and has a pretty underrated little receiving core there in Miami, led, of course, by Jarvis Landry. They're going to present major problems for this Jets secondary, but as we said, the Jets last in the NFL in pass defense. Everybody presenting major problems for the Jets secondary right now. Josh McCown of Cleveland threw for 341 yards on this team last week. I don't think Miami's going to have much trouble moving the ball. And as we said, that Jets offense, it just doesn't inspire much confidence. So I do like Miami to get the win here at home, and I think they're going to cover the 3.5-point number, like the Dolphins, to even up their record at 4-4. Moving on now, the Dallas Cowboys going on the road to face the Cleveland Browns. The Cowboys, of course, the toast of the NFL right now, leading the NFC East. Dramatic come-from-behind victory over Philadelphia last week. They are a 7-point favorite in Cleveland, 47.5 the total at Betsafe. Not surprising that Dallas, a popular public bet here, but you know what? I am looking hard at the Brown side, specifically and especially if Josh McCown starts this game. Now, I think he's going to. McCown, of course, came back last week after breaking his collarbone. We just mentioned a minute ago, threw for 341 yards against the New York Jets. McCown clearly the best option at quarterback on this Browns team, and I'm including Robert Griffin III, who began the season as the starter. But McCown has only played 2 games, last week against the Jets and a few weeks back against the Ravens. He also played very well against the Ravens, but unfortunately that's when he broke his collarbone. But look, he's had a late career resurgence. He's 37 years old now, which is why obviously the Browns, nobody else is going to commit to him at this point. This might be the final year of his career, but these last couple of years have really been the best years of his career. It seems like he's figured out how to play quarterback at the NFL level. And I'm telling you, at times last week, this Browns offense looked downright explosive. McCown finding Terrell Pryor repeatedly. I believe Pryor went over 100 receiving yards in the first half of that game. And if you haven't seen Pryor play, you know, prior to this season, no pun intended, but before this season, I was a little skeptical about the converted quarterback. Of course, he was a great collegiate quarterback at Ohio State, but I am skeptical no longer. This guy is a legit number 1 NFL wideout. Size and speed, looks uncoverable at times. And McCown, as we said, was feeding him the ball last week. If McCown plays this week against Dallas, and the only reason we think he might not play is because Cody Kessler, the Browns' rookie quarterback, has been cleared to practice this week after suffering a concussion. And Hugh Jackson, as the time of this recording, has not announced for sure who's going to start. The only reason Kessler would start is because there's a chance that he might be the future in Cleveland, being that he's a rookie, and there's no chance that 37-year-old Josh McCown is the future. But I think Hugh Jackson wants to win. The Browns 0-8. Hugh Jackson wants to win a ball game. I'm sure he knows Josh McCown is his best option. And the Dallas secondary is the weakness of that defense. McCown can have success in this game. He's a native Texan, of course, born in Jacksonville, Texas. So, he'd like nothing more than to beat the Cowboys here, sort of. Well, it'd be a huge upset, obviously. I was going to say sort of ruin the Cowboys season. I wouldn't take it quite that far. I don't think it would do quite all that. But certainly it would be a memorable thing for McCown if he was able to upset the Dallas Cowboys. Now, the major issue for Cleveland here is run defense. The Browns, next to last in the NFL against the run. Only San Francisco is worse, and the Dallas Cowboys can run the football. But the Browns did trade for Jamie Collins, the New England Patriots this week. Left a lot of people scratching their heads because Collins has been a great player over the past couple of years for the Patriots, a Pro Bowler, led the team in tackles in both 2014 and 2015. He will be a plug-and-play guy in Cleveland. Even though he doesn't know the defense very well, you can bet he will be on the field this Sunday. That has got to help the run defense some, you would think. And obviously Cleveland going to load the box in this game, try to force rookie quarterback Dak Prescott to beat them. I'm not sure Prescott's going to be able to go on the road and outduel 37-year-old Josh McCown. I like Cleveland in this game, assuming McCown plays. Think they have a very good chance of winning outright, like them, +7. Final game I'm on in this Week 9. Let's go out to the AFC West. Denver at Oakland. Oakland, a 1-point favorite at Betsafe. 43.5 the total here. This, a big game. Listen, this is the biggest game the Raiders have played in the regular season in years and years. I mean, this is for first place in the AFC West. Both these teams sitting at 6-2, and they both do it very differently. The Raiders, of course, do it with offense. The Denver Broncos, meanwhile, do it with that great defense. But, looking at the other sides of the ball, the Denver offense and the Oakland defense, they seem to be moving in different directions. The Broncos are getting worse on the offensive side of the ball. Now, losing running back C.J. Anderson certainly does not help. Trevor Siemian has hit the wall. I know he's not a rookie, so you can't really call it a rookie wall, but he might as well be a rookie with his lack of experience. But he's clearly a bottom-tier NFL starter. The Broncos currently 27th in the NFL in total offense. And the Raiders, even though statistically their defense is still near the bottom of the league, these last 2 games have been their best 2 games of the year defensively. A couple of weeks ago in Jacksonville, they really dominated the Jags for the first half of the game. The Jags did pile on some late garbage time yards, but still only managed 16 points. And then last week on the road in Tampa Bay, the Raiders pulling out an overtime win. The Bucs managed 24 points in the game, but only 270 total yards. So Oakland maybe starting to get it a little bit on the defensive side of the ball. And as we said, I think the Denver offense is regressing. So now it's just a matter of, can Derek Carr and this Oakland offense score on this Denver defense? Look, the Broncos, great defensively, but they're not impenetrable. And even though I don't think Carr is going to be going up and down the field here like he has some weeks, this Oakland offense is too good. The receiving core between Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree, it's going to be tough for Denver and any other secondary to contain this offense for an entire game. I like Oakland to squeak out enough points here to win the ball game. Again, a big game, the biggest game in Oakland in the regular season in several years. Sunday night football. The Raiders have the better quarterback in this game, and as I said, I believe their defense is moving in the right direction, whereas the Denver offense is moving in the wrong direction. There you have it. Those are my opinions for this Week 9, 3 games I'm going to be on. I like the Miami Dolphins -3.5 at home against the New York Jets. I like Cleveland +7 at home against Dallas, assuming Josh McCown gets the start. And I like the Oakland Raiders -1 against the Denver Broncos. Folks, I wish you best of luck at whatever you decide to do in this Week 9, just so long as your interests don't conflict with my interests. Enjoy the games.